So in this video we are taking a closer look between the DZO VESPID Primes against the NISI Athena. Both are budget cine lenses, if you will. The DZOs are a little bit longer in the market. The NISI is the new contender, if you will. How they both compare, what is better optical wise and also from the build quality, you're gonna find out right now. Coming up. Hi guys, my name is Paul. I'm a German-based cinematographer and this channel is all about filmmaking gear reviews, but also DaVinci Resolve tutorials. So if that's something that you're interested in, consider subscribe. That really helps the channel. So thanks to Basti, he is behind the camera. We are shooting with the Canon C70 on this instance now. What is really important to lenses, especially cine lenses, is on the one hand, how they are optically built. So what is the optical performance? But also on the other side, how they are built. What is the build quality like? How they feel in the hands and how do they compare? So maybe let's start with the build quality. And as you can see probably, the NISIs are a little bit smaller and a little bit more compact. From the weight, they are roughly about the same. That's around 800 grams each and that's around 900 grams, so you can't even feel it in the hand. The NISIs are T1.9, all of them except the 14 mil, and that's the T2.1. So I haven't seen a big difference, to be honest. Regarding focus and iris gears, I feel like that on the NISI they're a little bit more stiff and that makes it feel more better, I would say. On the DZO it doesn't feel bad by any means, but it feels a little bit more sturdy on the NISI, I would say. On the copies that I have here, I don't know, we'll contact NISI about it. All of them have like the label made in China. What I really like about the NISIs is the front cap. I really have to say they have a metal front cap with the focal length printed on it, and they have also this soft inlay which makes it really high premium. The DZOs on the other hand, they had like this plastic front cap with not even to mention there was no focal length on it, so I instantly replaced them with something else. So both of these lenses cover Vista Vision, so beyond full frame, which is cool. They come with an interchangeable lens mount, so you can swap between EF and PL, which is really helpful for me because I have an own rental. On the NISI, on the other hand, you can't really do that, but there are plenty of lens options or mount options to choose from, whether it's E-mount, RF, whatsoever. So now let's come to the optical comparison of both of these lenses. To the test conditions, we used the RED Komodo using the RF to PL adapter, and we didn't use any ND filters at all. My filmmaker heart was bleeding because we had to crank up the shutter. So what you see is actually just the lens and the camera sensor itself. So, and what we've seen here is, first let's talk maybe about the image overall. So what we directly see in comparison is that the NISI Athenas, they look more yellowish, greenish, if you will. DZOs, they have like more a blue kind of tint, and that stays consistent throughout the whole range in both lenses. Then we looked at chromatic aberration, and we have more chromatic aberration on the DZO VESPID Primes than on the NISIs. Also, when we see at the focus chart, they both have a little bit of chromatic aberration in the center, but also on the VESPIDs it's more also in the outer areas, and I saw that also in the outside test that we did. So then we also checked lens breathing, so the effect that occurs when you focus from one object to the other, that the image appears to zoom in or out. So both lenses do, or both manufacturers do very well here. Either the Athenas are very well and also the VESPIDs, but I would give a slight edge to the VESPIDs because it's across the range a little less prominent, but both do very, very well in this regard. One very important aspect to me is also lens flaring. So I took a flashlight and pointed it straight into the camera from various angles, and the NISIs flare less. So we mostly don't get any flares, maybe a little bit, and you just see like a white spark in the image. They do hold contrast better, but the VESPIDs, I feel like the flare looks really nice, really organic, and I personally like flares. VESPIDs, they have kind of this ghosting, especially the 50 and the 75. When there's a light coming from the side, you get like this weird looking ghosting, I would say. I also had that when we shot 7 recreations, so the ending scene on the 50mm you see it from time to time, but it's even more prominent on the 75. Then let's also talk about sharpness, and I expected to have a different result here, but overall they are pretty identical when it comes to it. I looked at different images and they do look pretty similar, to be honest. On the 35, the Vespid was a little bit sharper. On the 50, the NISI was a little bit sharper, but it's just really pixel peeping. Overall, they both have a nice sharpness. They are not overly sharp. It looks nice, and both have a nice micro contrast. So then, when we talk about overall skin rendition, I would also give an edge to the Vespids because there was always a little bit more red in the skin, which made it more look organic and neutral. On the NISIs, on the other hand, because they have like this green tint, the skin always appeared a little bit like washed out or yellowish, and it didn't look too natural, I would say. Sure, you can manipulate all of that in post, but straight out of the image, I personally liked the Vespids more. So let's summarize it. In general, you can't go wrong with either of these options. It's just a matter of what you personally prefer more. The Vespids, they have a little bit more character. They're not like totally arty, but they have a bit more character to them. The NISIs are not super clinical, but they are very neutral. So that makes it more flexible that you can use it for actually everything, and you just stack on filters to get the desired look. But on the other hand, I didn't have any problems with the Vespids on whatever project I've shot with it. The NISIs, and for the first time that NISI did any cine prime lenses, they've done an incredible job. I really liked the build quality, the design, and also how they in general render the image. As always, it's just a personal preference. So you know that game. If you have any further questions, then just drop them down in the comments below, and I'm gonna see you in my very next one. Cheers!